Is this a familiar sight to you? Whether you're cycle touring or you're bikepacking, storage is a problem. In this video, I'll share with you a trick that can give you up to 6 liters of storage space, and it does not involve an additional bag. The best storage space is in your bike's triangle. It is centered in the bike and you can keep the center of gravity very low. However, traditionally bottles are carried on the bike triangle, and this oftentimes carries over to bikepacking. By having your water bottles in the triangle, you are losing valuable storage space. That can be up to 6 liters of storage. In order to make use of this space, the solution is very obvious, right? Get rid of the bottles. Just don't keep your water bottles in the triangle. And there are a few options that are used and we have available, each of these with their pros and cons. One of the most used options for bikepackers is to use the feed bags. Put the water bottles in the feed bags, or at least one of them in the feed bag. If your cockpit and handlebar configuration allows for that, then it's great. However, it does not work on all occasions. In my case, I run drop bars and aero bars, and having water bottles in there is not really an option. I also like to use the feed bags for eating. One of the bags is for my snacks, and in the other bags I have my food container that I've prepared in the morning, which I snack throughout the day. If you're curious to understand more about this system of fueling that I'm using, well, there's a link to the video there. The advantage of keeping your water bottles in the feed bag is that they are handy and they stay clean. Other options of keeping your water bottles is on the down tube. It is a very good location because it's central to the bike and it has a low center of gravity. The problem is that it is not easily accessible. One of the options is that you have another bottle that you keep handy, such as in your feed bag, and you top it up from time to time from the one on your down tube. There are options as well of mounting water bottles on the fork. I have done that as well. One of those situations has been when I've been out in the middle of the desert in Australia, where I had to carry up to 9 liters of water, so I used every single place that was possible. I also tend to do that on my fat bike when I go on my coastal adventures. Some people do not prefer to put stuff on the fork. I don't have a problem, but then again, there is the same issue of accessibility. In saying this, there is a solution. It is a hydration tube from Source that mounts on different bottles, such as Nalgene and some other standards. I have used it on several occasions and it overcomes the challenge of accessibility when you have your bottles mounted on the fork or on the down tube. One other option that is commonly used is to mount water bottles on your rear rack. However, it needs to be a special rack that can take a cage. We still have the problem of accessibility. It is not within easy reach. Another solution is carrying the water on yourself, either if it is a bum bag with a hydration bladder, or you have a whole vest and or hydration backpack. That one is great. You don't have any issues with accessibility. You can potentially go up to 3 liters and more. The problem is potentially overheating if in your hot environment, and then also additional pressure on your butt and on your wrists from the weight that sits on your shoulder. And perhaps one of the last options to consider, a bladder inside your frame bag. Yeah. I have had issues with them leaking, and I am always anxious about it. And it is not really solving the storage space. It is taking valuable storage space in the frame bag, and then when the bladder empties, that space is not utilized. So what is my solution to all of these problems? It's a system that I've used for more than 2 years, and I have not had any issues with it. I have had quite a lot of people ask about it, and it's a great solution. Enter the double cage.
Nick Cage.
No, not that cage. This cage. This is a double bottle cage from Cycleworks. It is wide enough so you can mount 2 bottles on either side and still fit a frame bag on top of it. It comes with 2 different angles depending on how wide your tube is, and then you can mount it on the bottom of the down tube, you can mount it on the top of your down tube. In my case, it did not fit the bosses on my frame, and I had to use this King Cage universal support bolt system. And it's been flawless. There's no rattling, there's no noise, it's not moving, it's sitting there very well in place. There is also now another manufacturer of a similar double cage, and they also provide a double cage for your fork. There is also the Wolftooth BRAD system, which would be a double bottle adapter. However, the space in between is not sufficient to fit a frame bag. This is such a good system that I keep it on my bike the whole time, whether I'm bikepacking or I'm just going shopping or riding around town. There is one slight disadvantage though with the system. You will get more dirt flung from your wheel to the bottles, so they will be somewhat dirty. The solution I have found are these stainless steel bottles from Elite, which have a cap. They work fine. I do not have any complaints about them. I'm really happy to have shared this solution with you. I have used it for many years and I highly recommend it. Storage space is a challenge. The better we manage the challenges, the greater the adventures. Thank you for watching.